How long does it take to get into a rent-to-own home? Amazing, amazing question. So, how long does it take? Let me go ahead and tell you the proper steps to go ahead and get into a rent-to-own home so that you don't fail on this and then find out some stuff about this home after you move into it and find out that, there's some stuff wrong with it. So, the first step is actually finding the rent-to-own home. So, finding the rent-to-own home on our list is definitely the first step to go ahead and find it. Then you're going to have to get in touch with your rent-to-own specialist. Your rent-to-own specialist is going to go ahead and write the contract and everything, and say you and the seller come to terms. You got the down payment, your credit counseling, you have everything agreed between you and the seller. And now you need to go ahead and find out when can you actually get into that rent-to-own home. When can you actually take possession of that rent-to-own home? So once again, this is negotiated between you and the seller. But I can tell you this. One thing that you really need to do is that once you and the seller come to terms on a rent-to-own home, so say you found the rent-to-own home, you're coming to terms, you got a contract, you need to go ahead and get inspections done on that home. Here's why. You don't want to find out down the road or very shortly down the road that there was plumbing problems, electrical problems, stuff that you couldn't actually see. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and hire a home inspector to go ahead and look at this. This is the same exact thing that you would be doing if you're going to ahead and actually purchasing a house outright. Same exact thing. You're going to go ahead and do an inspection. Once you go ahead and get that inspection back from that home inspector, then you're going to go ahead and find out exactly what's right with the house and what's wrong with the house. Now, chances are not all the homes are going to be perfect. Okay, that's just the brutal truth of it. They're probably not going to be perfect. They're probably not going to be a brand new house. Okay, and you have to understand that. But what you can do with those inspections, if there's something really wrong that actually affects the habitability of the home, you can actually go back to that seller and say, you know what, I need you to go ahead and fix this stuff, or else I can't buy this. I can't get into this house. It's just not suitable for us. For me and my family, it's not suitable. So you can definitely do that after you go ahead and get the home inspection, but a rent-to-own is very different from a regular purchase. So a regular purchase, typically you go ahead and find a house, you go ahead and put it under contract, you do your inspections, then there's an appraisal done, and then you got to wait for your loan to go ahead and get through. A rent-to-own home, land contract home, lease option home, whatever you want to call them, is different than that. You're really not getting a loan. You're not getting a loan on something like that, so you don't have to wait for your lender to come through and go through underwriting and submit all the documents and stuff like that. You don't have to wait on that. You'll have to do that whenever you get the loan on your rent-to-own home. You'll have to do that, but you won't have to do that whenever you first buy it. So say you go ahead and find a rent-to-own home. The chances of you actually being in that house, it could be as little as 14 days. It could be 7 days. As soon as you go ahead and get that inspection done from a home inspector, which I highly, highly recommend. I really do. Once you go ahead and get that back, then all you have to do is pretty much go ahead and sign off on it, and you're done. Because you don't have to wait on a loan. You don't have to wait on an appraisal or anything like that, because you're not getting a loan right now. Okay? You don't have to do any of that stuff. But the general rule of thumb is anywhere between 20 days or less. You can typically be in a rent-to-own home. But that's all negotiated with the seller. Maybe that they need a little bit of time to move, and you agree with that. So if that's the case, or maybe the home's vacant, you can probably move in right away. So it's all up to you and the seller, but that's a good rule of thumb. And make sure that you go ahead and get a home inspection on these homes so that you don't get stuck with surprises after you move in, and then you could possibly lose your down payment whenever you do that. So make sure that you're securing your investment and getting that home inspection. So all you got to do is get in touch with your rent-to-own specialist, and we'll talk to you soon.